What's going on YouTube? So as the auto industry is pushing towards EVs, a lot of brands are jumping in. Honda is one of those brands with this all-new Prologue, their first electric crossover designed to target the heart of the market. This new model was co-developed with GM and is promising the best things that both companies have to offer. So is it time to trade in your CR-V hybrid and switch to the EV future? Let's take a first look and find out. So with this Prologue, Honda has a kind of new style going on. They call this Neo Rugged. And what that basically means is that you have a few futuristic elements, but also kind of a more rugged vibe overall. And I think that's one of the big things that you'll notice as soon as you walk up to this new Prologue is the fact that it's really more traditional than a lot of EVs we've been seeing come to the market recently. So up here in the front, of course, you have a sealed off grille area. This is going to be finished in black. You do have some airflow that's going to be down here in your lower fascia. But like I said, overall, more of a conventional look. That also carries on to the headlights as well. So you'll notice none of those trendy light bars or anything like that. We just have kind of a nice LED unit here. You've got your reflector LEDs through there. You do also have a turn signal and daytime running light across the top, as well as LED fog lights down here at the bottom. Now, as we move on to the wheels, this is one of the very interesting things about this Prologue because it actually has the largest alloy wheel on any Honda product. This is a 21-inch alloy wheel, and boy, does it look really cool with this overall design. Obviously very large, but I like the way they've designed this. It stands out from all the other Honda products with the contrasting finish, and it looks really good with the gloss black wheel surround, as well as this exclusive Prologue paint color, which I'm forgetting the name of, but I'm gonna put it right here in post-edit. Let's also talk about our charge port right here. It's going to be here on the front driver's side, and it's going to be connected to that 85 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery pack. Now, as far as your charging specifications, you're looking at a DC fast charge rate up to 155 kilowatts, which is a little bit slower than Hyundai, but will still be able to give you 65 miles of range in about 10 minutes. Now, you also may have seen the news that Honda is going to be switching to the North American charging standard, aka the Tesla charger, starting after 2025, but this will launch with the CCS charger. Now, as we take a look at the mirrors, fully loaded, so we have the gloss black finish, LED turn signal indicator, we have heating, blind spot monitoring, auto dimming, and power folding.
Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys are curious as to where this Prologue fits into the Honda lineup, and it's coming in at an overall length of 192 inches long. And if you're curious as to how that compares to some of the other Honda crossovers, that's about the same length as the Honda Passport. Now, you heard Drew at the beginning, this is actually a co-developed vehicle with General Motors, and that does mean that this is riding on their Ultium platform. This actually shares the size with the Blazer EV coming up. So it is going to be very similar in length to that vehicle and have a lot of similar elements to that upcoming Blazer EV. Now, for those of you really keen with the auto market, you might have also seen that upcoming all-electric Acura ZDX. This is actually going to be about 5 inches shorter than that, so it's not exactly like the same platform or anything along those lines. As far as design elements, we do have some blacked out roof rails, blacked out door handles, which I think looks really quite nice. And let's check out the rear, because this rear design is very much new to the Honda brand. It looks like no other Honda that I've seen before, and it's really debuting a lot of new elements for the Honda brand. Now, as far as some of those elements, let's go ahead and break those down. We have a spoiler up top. We have an exposed rear wiper. You will notice that it just has an overall kind of hatchbacky look. It's not too rugged and squared off like a lot of SUVs are, but you'll also notice this. So this is one of the really unique elements about the Prologue is that you have Honda's kind of lowercase spelling through here. This is new branding that they're using for their electric vehicles. And then dropping down to the lower area, we have, once again, that really nice shiny black plastic. I'm liking that they're not doing the rugged matte black, and we do also have a silver finish down here. Of course, you're not going to have any exposed exhaust outlets. And let's talk about the safety systems for this new Prologue. Honda's entire safety suite is going to come as standard equipment on this model. So that means all 4 of your active safety features are included. That being said, do not expect to find something like GM's Super Cruise system on this Prologue. That will remain GM exclusive. But guys, there's a lot to show you on the inside, so let's go ahead and get to that. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
Now let's go ahead and move on to the interior. Now, of course, as you'd expect, most models, will have the smart entry system, stuff like that. And looking inside the interior, I think this is where you'll probably notice a little bit more of the GM influence than the exterior, which really doesn't look anything at all like a Blazer or anything like that. There are a few more elements for sure from General Motors inside of the interior. But before we kind of dive into all the specific details, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about interior color and material choices. So standard on the base model is going to be a cloth seat. The Touring has leather, and this Elite trim level is going to have the perforated leather. As you can see, nice premium look to this. We also have the two-tone finish. There's a few different colors you can get here, including an exclusive brown color for just the Elite trim level. As far as the seats themselves, they're going to be 8-way power adjusting with 2-way lumbar support, and you do have memory seating built in over here on the door trim itself. But let's go ahead and climb inside. Now that we're inside, let's go ahead and start off by looking at the overall material quality. So starting out over here on our door trim, we do have a leather material through here as well as through there. It's going to be a soft touch plastic along the top. As we move to the dashboard, this is all going to be finished in a soft touch plastic up here, a leatherette material down here closer to where you touch, and then you've got a P&O black trim that's going to run through the center section. Down here in the center console area, nothing much going on here. We just kind of have a black plastic, no padding or anything. This is a pre-production model, so I do want you guys to be aware of that. Some of this stuff is subject to change, so if you notice any defects or anything, it is a pre-production model. As such, one of those things is the fact that the electronics in here that you're looking at are actually fake. These are just kind of images to show you what the software will look like, but we can't play around with the software or anything like that. With our gauge cluster, specifically here is 11 inches. As you can see, you will have full customizability once you can select some of those things. You will also have a head-up display, and that's going to be an Elite exclusive feature. Now, as we pull back to the steering wheel, you'll see a kind of GM-esque design, including with the buttons. That's really the main thing that will remind you of General Motors, is a lot of the buttons and switchgear will be borrowed from them, whereas many of the design elements, those are going to be Honda. Now the wheel itself, manual tilt and telescoping. It'll also be heated on the Elite trim level. But let's go ahead and dig into interior storage, because that, of course, is something that Honda is always doing an excellent job with. And we have this 2-tiered storage system here with the console. Starting out with our center console itself, opening that up, this is absolutely enormous. Look how deep this is, guys, and it's very wide as well, lots of space. This is also the first Honda to have this pocket-style wireless phone charging pad, so you can just slide your phone in there, and obviously that's going to make it take up a lot less space, giving you more space for your 2 humongous cup holders, as well as this very large front bin where you can stick loose objects, whatever you need, right through there. The other thing is that we have a center pass-through, so all of this is going to be completely clear for you to fill up with whatever you have. So I'm very impressed with the overall storage. One of the reasons why you can have that much storage is because, like a lot of EVs, we have a column-mounted shifter up here instead of down here on the console itself. This is going to allow you not only to free up space, but also be pretty convenient for your hand that's already resting on the steering wheel. Like I said, this vehicle is not running, and we can't show you anything in regards to the rear cameras, but we look forward to fully testing this out and giving you guys a better detailed look at that once this vehicle becomes available. Now, coming back to this area, we do have a dual zone automatic climate setup. Nice, big, easy to use knobs right through there. You are also going to have 3-stage heated seats as standard equipment. You are supposed to have 3-stage ventilated seats on the Elite. That's what Honda says, even though it doesn't actually have a button for that right now. Again, pre-production. Taking a look up here at our display, as you can see, absolutely an enormous display. This is going to be 11.3 inches. And this is going to be an Android Automotive based infotainment system. So like you've seen on the new Honda Accord, this is going to be a very similar system. It's going to have Google built in, so you have the ability to open up Google Maps, do the Play Store, Google Assistant, or you can also just do Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. As far as the audio system, you are going to have a Bose audio system on board. It's going to be a 12-speaker system, and that's going to be on both the Touring and the Elite trim levels. Finally, up top, we have an auto-dimming mirror. This will be included on Touring and Elite trim levels. And then we have a feature that you can't get on many Honda products, including a CR-V hybrid if you have one of them. This is the panoramic sunroof. So as you can see, very large piece of glass. You do also have a power sunshade, and the front panel opens up.
Now let's check out the rear seat area of this all-new Honda Prologue. Now, we don't have official space figures and all of that because this is a very early studio shoot of this vehicle, so Honda's still working on getting all those official figures to us. So we'll be able to have those in our full review, which will be coming out a little bit later, so stay tuned for that. But never fear, Car Confections brings measuring devices with them even on our trip, so we can see how much space there is behind Drew's seating position. I'm 5'9" for reference, and we're sitting at 10 inches of knee space. My feet can also easily slide up underneath of the seat. So I'm telling you guys, this is a very, very big offering when it comes to the amount of space. Honda always does space really well, and this is certainly going to be just as large as something like a CR-V. I think it might even be larger in terms of legroom. The headroom is not going to be a huge amount. I do feel like this is a little short for an SUV. Now, as far as features that they're including, we do have vents here in the center. Dropping below that, we have a little storage cubby. No climate controls, though. We have 2 USB-C ports, as well as a household-style outlet for this Elite model. If we fold down the center armrest, we do have 2 cup holders inside, and it looks like the ambient lighting turned off, but I do want to point out this little strip here, this little black strip, it was illuminating earlier, so that is a nice ambient lighting piece that you're going to have even here in the rear door trim. As far as other materials are concerned, this upper part is going to be all a hard touch, kind of scratchy material. I don't know if that will make it to the production version. We'll see a little bit later on. Then we do have some bottle storage down in the very bottom. Now walking up to the cargo area on the Prologue, we do have a hands-free power tailgate on Touring and Elite trim levels. And then as far as the space is concerned in this cargo area, we're sitting at about 25 cubic feet behind the second row seats. If we fold those seats down, we're looking at a maximum of about 57.7 cubic feet of cargo capacity. If you're comparing that to some of the other electric rivals, that is going to be very similar to what you're going to get in the Hyundai Ioniq 5, the Mustang Mach-E. It's going to be about 10 cubic foot less than a Tesla Model Y, if that's what you're comparing it to. And as far as a CR-V, it's going to be quite a bit behind that, about 15 cubic feet or so. Now, as far as how they finished it back here, we do have a little storage up underneath of here. Actually, it's quite a bit of storage. As you can see, I can fit my entire arm down there. There's a little bit more up in front of that. And let me go ahead and fold the seats down. They do fold 60-40 split folding, and they don't have handles in the cargo area, but for someone any taller than me, you'd have no problems folding that down. And of course, like I said, we do bring all of our measuring devices even on our trip, so we can give you all those facts and figures that you're looking for in your reviews. We're sitting at 73 inches of length behind the seat adjusted to Drew, and as far as the cargo opening width, we're sitting at about 45 inches of space.
And coming off that rear cargo area, I do want to mention that there is no frunk on board. But now that we're up here in the front, let's talk about some powertrain specifications. I already mentioned that this has an 85 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack on board. And as far as the performance you're going to get out of that, the dual-motor all-wheel drive version will be producing 288 horsepower, 333 pound-feet of torque. We don't have any estimated 0 to 60 times or anything like that quite yet. Honda will be releasing more information as time passes on. Now, of course, the other big number when it comes to an EV is expected electric range. Honda is estimating a 300-mile range for this Prologue model.
Now, I'm sure you're probably curious about the pricing for this Prologue because some of these new EVs that are coming out are indeed very expensive. Thankfully, the Prologue is going to start in the upper $40,000 range. So you could expect maybe a base model to be about $47,000, $48,000. And then, of course, as you move up the trim structure, it would increase on that. Now, of course, like we've said throughout this video, we don't have the official numbers yet, but stay tuned to the channel if you want those, because we will be posting those as soon as we get those official numbers. Now, another thing to point out about the pricing that is very important is that this Honda Prologue will be manufactured in GM's Mexico plant with the Blazer EV. And the important thing about that is the fact that it should at least qualify for some version of a federal tax credit and rebate. Now, will it be the full $7,500 or $3,750? Well, that's going to depend largely on U.S. rules and regulations at the time this vehicle goes on sale, which, by the way, Honda is expecting deliveries to start in early 2024. Now, if you are looking for a new vehicle, you can also go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes to be connected with local dealers in your area and get the best price, of course, when this Honda Prologue comes out or on any new vehicle. But guys, we really appreciate you making it this far in our in-depth review of the all-new 2024 Honda Prologue Elite. If you enjoyed watching this first look video, please pay us back by hitting that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, of course, you're going to stay updated on some of the latest information with this all-new Honda Prologue, as well as a ton of other Hondas in the lineup. If you're already a fan and loyal subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. We would also appreciate a follow on TikTok and Instagram, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.